Yo, hi guys, it's Inam here and welcome to the cupboard. And it's that time of year again where Mobile World Congress is just around the corner, February 25th, and Samsung will announce their new flagships. That's right, their flagships, more than one. So the Galaxy S9 and the S9 Plus, so there will be two variants. Whereas last year we only had one, being the Galaxy S8. Now if you're an S8 owner, you're gonna see literally, most likely, the same form factor. So the S9, the regular S9 with the 5.8 inch display will be relatively the same form factor as a Galaxy S8, although the bezels across the bottom will be ever so slightly thinner. So you're not going to be missing too much in terms of the form factor, whereas the Galaxy S9 Plus will have a 6.8 inch display. Yes, 6.8 inches diagonally with a pixel density of 529 ppi compared to the regular S9 5.8 inch display and 570 ppi. Super AMOLED HD display, Infinity display rather. And if you haven't tried out one of these devices, I love the AMOLED display. It's very vibrant indeed, but if you're not about that vibrant life, you can turn the vibrancy down in the settings. You may or you may not be aware of a device Samsung released this year called the Samsung Galaxy A8. Now some of the features on this device will also no doubtably come across to the new flagships, like USB Type-C charging and data transfer, so none of this micro USB rubbish anymore, which is pretty cool. Now that Galaxy A8 did also have dual front-facing cameras. Does that mean the new flagships will also have them? I personally don't think so. I think in terms of the cameras, the Galaxy S9 will have a single front-facing camera and the S9 Plus will also have a single front-facing camera. The rear-facing camera on the regular S9 will be a single sensor, whereas the S9 Plus will have a dual camera setup like we saw on the Note from last year. It's all about pixel count, so the front-facing shooter on the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus will have an 8 megapixel sensor, whereas the rear-facing shooter on the Galaxy S9 will be a 12 megapixel shooter with an f-stop of 1.7, and that secondary camera on the Galaxy S9 Plus, it's rumored to have an aperture of 2.4, but we'll have to wait and see what Samsung actually unveil for that. It's also rumored that we're going to get super slow-mo video, recording at 720p 1000 frames per second, but that seems a little bit far-fetched, but you never know. Apple with this iPhone X had super slow-mo, so Samsung may also want to push out the boat. But either way, the Galaxy S8 from 2017 was one of my favorite devices for taking photographs, apart from the Pixel 2 XL. But the photos on this device were absolutely gorgeous, so I can't wait to see what improvements they've made for the newer flagships for 2019. Samsung got a lot of complaints about the fingerprint sensor on the Galaxy S8 and where it was placed. Very unergonomic, and I don't know who passed the designs for this, but that was just silly. Placed in the wrong place. It should be in the center, and they've corrected this for the Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. So it's going to be in the center of the device, just underneath the cameras. And it's also rumored that that fingerprint sensor will have a new design. Some of the leaks out there have shown some of the circuitry for the fingerprint sensor, and it's rumored that that's going to have a slightly different design to what we've seen on the Galaxy S8. The spec life for these flagships will incorporate Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 chipset, with international variants getting the Exynos 9810 chipset. Now in terms of memory, it's rumored between 4 and 6, but I can't see Samsung incorporating 6 GB of RAM because it's not needed really. The regular S9 will get the 4 GB of RAM, and I think if Samsung really want, then the bigger variant, the S9 Plus, will get the 6 GB of random access memory. But I personally think that one will also get 4 GB of RAM, but we'll have to wait and see. I'm a little bit disappointed because both these CPU chipsets, it's rumored to have Quick Charge 2.0, but aren't we already on Quick Charge 3.0 already? And I suppose Samsung is trying to play it safe, not to have any more battery charging issues or phones exploding like it did with the Note. So I can see them playing it safe, but I want faster charging. In terms of storage, the S8 began with 64 GB and that's going to continue. The S9 and S9 Plus will start at 64 GB of internal storage, and you will be able to expand it further in the form of a micro SD card. So that's absolutely awesome. Speaking of batteries, the S8 came with a 3000 mAh rated battery, and the S9 will have the same battery, 3000 mAh. However, the S9 Plus will gain an extra 5,000 milliamps, taking the battery to 3,500 milliamp hours. Although the batteries are exactly the same, no increases year on year, you're still going to get more performance out of them, just purely because the CPU performance has been increased. They're more efficient, they're not going to be using as much power, and you still have fast charging, of course, wireless fast charging as well. There's also rumours of an under-screen fingerprint scanner being included on the newer flagships from Synaptics, but in reality that's not going to happen. Samsung's going to follow Apple's route in pioneering and looking at ways of unlocking your device using facial recognition, and apparently they're going to be including a biometric 3D modelling camera that will be able to use the iris scanner as well as actual face to unlock your device, but we'll have to wait and see what they come up with. But I still think they're going to be using more of that type of facial recognition to unlock their devices. I was using the Apple iPhone X's facial recognition, and when it works, it's absolutely seamless. I found it not to recognize my face quite a lot at various angles. I don't know if that's because I'm kind of funny looking, but yeah, it didn't work as much, but when it did work, it was absolutely seamless. You didn't even know that you were doing an extra step to unlock your device. So if Samsung can do that as well, then that would be absolutely awesome. Now, I never got the hang of using Bixby, but the Bixby button on the Galaxy S8 is returning for the flagships of 2018. Let me know in the comment section down below if you use Bixby, what you use it for. Is it useful? Should I make more of an effort to actually use it? Because I gotta admit, I used it a little bit, but I didn't really find it useful that much, so I just stopped using it. And speaking of things I don't like, the 3.5mm audio jack, which I like, is making a comeback. Well, not really a comeback. It never really left the Galaxy S8, but it's still going to be incorporated on the S9 and S9 Plus. And those speakers, in terms of the audio, are going to be stereo speakers. I'm presuming this is going to be the same placement as the Galaxy S8, but like the iPhone X, they're going to be stereo speakers. So you'll see the earpiece as well as a bottom firing speaker being stereo. Now, it's saying they're going to be AKG speakers, but in reality, they're just going to be tuned by AKG. Now, the price, the dollars, the moolah is a big issue, especially because Apple charged $1,000 or £1,000 here in the UK for the iPhone X. I don't think Samsung are going to follow suit that much. I think their S9 will cost around about the same sort of price as what the S8 did. So around about $700 to $720 here in the UK, maybe $550 to £600. The S9 Plus, however, will be an extra $100 or £100 on top of the base price, but we'll have to wait and see. I don't think Samsung will go that far as to charging £1,000 for a smartphone, which is absolutely ridiculous. And not forgetting water and dust resistancy on the newer flagships. Android 8.0, absolutely awesome. I can't wait. February 25th, Mobile World Congress, Samsung will announce these devices to the world with pre-orders beginning on the 1st of March, and mid-March is when you should get your devices and the official launch will be. If you watched any more content, you know I do a lot of videos on Samsung devices. I love the cameras, they've come on leaps and bounds. The displays themselves are very vibrant, very punchy, but you can turn that down if you're not a fan. So make sure you're subscribed and make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content. There will be a lot more content coming up from Samsung as well as other devices that I'll be getting in-house. So thanks for watching, have a wicked day, and I'll see you next time.